Good morning, everyone. Matt, Maria, Nomadic Native back with you. Thanks for tuning in. So our videos got a little bit out of order. The last video we uploaded was done in Forest City, Iowa. Prior to that, we were at Mountain State Park in Indiana, and everybody knew that we were going up to Elkhart, Indiana to go to the museum and the furniture stores and so on. We skipped right over that and did the uploaded the video from Forest City because we thought it was kind of important to get that information out there. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link it for you at the end of this one. We also wanted to share some information with you about how we find very low cost and sometimes even free campgrounds as we're traveling throughout the states. And so what we're doing in this video is trying to catch everybody up to where we are now, because where we are now is a story unto itself. Anyway, let's get started. We're going to start up in Elkhart. Okay. Right. So one of the things that we were concerned about going up to the museum in Elkhart was, would there be enough room in the parking lot for us with Java and towing the Jeep and all. And as it turned out, it wasn't really a concern. Yeah, no, the parking lot was huge. There was hardly anybody there, and we found ourselves a spot, and before we set up or anything, we went in as usual and asked permission if we could stay there. And we asked Matt asked the lady if we could be there for a couple nights, and I mean, she acted like we could have been there longer than that, but we only stayed a couple nights. Yeah. So. Yep, that parking lot was really big, so yeah. We ended up dropping the jack, like everybody else was doing. Yep. That was there. We dropped the jacks and put out the slides, and we stayed for a couple nights. We boondocked right there in the parking lot. Yeah. And we got to see some really interesting things in the museum. If you want to go up there to Elkhart and go to the museum, I recommend it. There's some really neat stuff in there. There's some really old RVs. Some of them you can walk into, a lot of them, but the older ones, they have it kind of roped off so you can't go in. Yeah, some of them you can actually go inside. Some of the ones that, well, they have some famous ones there. We got to see the Mae West house car. We got to see Lindbergh's RV and a lot of other famous ones that you've probably heard of. And it's really kind of a neat place. You get to walk through kind of like on a little road, and you start, way back when, and you progress towards more modern type RVs. All the way to the last one, as you get ready to leave, is the Winnebago Brave. Oh yeah, that's right. Remember that? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and saw one there that looked like a bug. I'd never seen that before. Oh yeah, that was kind of weird. And then I almost lost Maria to this really slick old dude. I think he was a pinochle player in a what kind of RV was that he was in? Some kind of Class C from way back when. But he was kind of old and stiff, and so he couldn't move too fast, so I got her away from him. And let's see. So after we spent a couple nights at the museum, we decided that we wanted to try and get a couple of nights at a local campground so that we could go to check out furniture and some other places there in Elkhart. And we stayed at Elkhart Campground for a couple of nights. One of the reasons we went up to Elkhart was to we want to replace our couch with theater seating. Right. So we went to Braden Hall Furniture. Oh yeah, it was a nice place. And we found exactly what we're looking for. Yep. And they're going to reupholster it and do all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it takes about 6 weeks because we don't want the leather, we want cloth. So what we have to do is when we're ready to go back up there and have them install it for us, we'll call them 6 weeks out and order it, and it'll be ready for installation when we get up there. And we'll probably be doing that in the spring. Whenever their winter is done, because we're not going up there in the winter time. Right. Okay, so and then from there we went over to the factory surplus, or the factory RV factory surplus. Yeah, we went to RV factory surplus. That place was kind of amazing, man. They had some of everything except what we was looking for. And I mean, anything you can think of from just about any RV surplus stuff, they've got it.
They even have furniture there, but we didn't find anything we liked.
So. Right? No, we didn't see anything we liked there.
Yeah.
We found what we're getting at Braden Hall.
Yep.
And let's see, they had it wasn't just one room either. They had like 4 or 5 different rooms of different stuff.
Yeah. I don't know if we even saw the whole thing. I don't know. Yeah. It got turned around in there, but anyways.
So let's see. So that's what we did up in Elkhart. Now we left Elkhart Campground and we started heading south. So this is where the video sequence gets a little bit messed up. When we left out of Elkhart, we went back to Forest City, Iowa. That's where I had a little incident, busted the back of my head open and made the RV look like a murder scene. And I'll link that video at the end of this one for you so you can see it. So I'm picking up after leaving Forest City, Iowa. When we're traveling through the states like this, and there's no big rush or nothing, we like to go on the 2-lane roads.
We do. You get to see so much more of the area without all the traffic and this has led us to find that we can find really cheap and low cost and sometimes even free camping, and we want to share with you where we're finding this at. It's in the little towns that you have to drive through. Check out this book, Free and Low Cost Campgrounds. The entire title is Camping, America's Guide to Free and Low Cost Campgrounds. This is, we have the 15th edition. You can find this on Amazon. I'm not sure if the 15th is the latest edition. I thought about giving you a link, but I don't want to send you to an old copy, an old edition or something. So search Amazon for these couple of books that we're going to talk to you about. They're on there. I've already looked them up. Camping, America's Guide to Free and Low Cost Campgrounds. What this lists is all of those small town campgrounds that the small towns across America are setting up for RVers to try and bring business into their town. For example, Highway 66 bypassed a whole lot of towns when they put in the new interstate, right? Nobody travels 66 much anymore. Right. So they don't go through the little towns. Well, they're putting on the campgrounds to bring you into the towns, okay? And this book lists the ones that are $12 or less per night, okay? And one of them that we've gone to several times now, and we went back to this time, was in McCook, Nebraska.
McCook, Nebraska.
Yeah, it's a cute little park.
It is. It's got 7 spaces, and
it's free.
And it's free. The sign even says it's a free tourist campground, and it has 50 amp, 30 amp, and 20 amp at every pedestal. I think there's 7 sites there. They have bathrooms with showers, and they are like you can expect, for free. They have a dump station there, and again, it's what you would expect for free. But hey, you can stay there for 3 nights for free, and they would like a donation if you have a mind to. But it's a free tourist camp, and we like to stay there. It works out great for us every time we're through that area. And it was this book is where we found it. Yep. Camping, America's Guide to Free and Low Cost Campgrounds. Now, another one that we like to use, we really like Corps of Engineer campgrounds. Okay. This one I know for sure is not the current edition. This is the 8th edition of Camping with the Corps of Engineers. I think they're up to the 11th edition. You can find it on Amazon. Now, everything that you can find in these books, you can also find in apps and that kind of thing. But these books tend to give you a lot more information on the sites and the area and that kind of thing, and we highly recommend them. Yep. So that's how, when we're traveling throughout the states and we're taking our time on those 2-lane roads that we like to travel, going through the little towns, that's how we're staying for relatively very inexpensive. Yeah. At these little town campgrounds. So that's how we do it. Now, let me tell you about when we left McCook. We started heading south back towards Oklahoma. and we were headed back towards Oklahoma. And I was driving, and Maria's over there texting with a friend of hers, an old Army buddy that she's kept in touch with over the years.
Yeah.
And they like to, you know, meet up when they can. And I guess she was in Cannon, Colorado.
Yeah.
Not too far out of Pueblo. And and all of a sudden Maria turns to me and she says, "Hey, the Colorado State Fair is in Pueblo, Colorado."
Yeah, and I like to go to fairs. So.
Yeah, so it was like a right turn, Clyde, and we hooked a right, and now we're in Pueblo, Colorado to go to the State Fair.
The problem there is this is a state fair.
Yeah,
and every place we called was booked.
Yeah, I mean, all the RV parks were full.
Except for this one, of course.
Well, all the ones in Pueblo.
Yeah.
Normally we like to stay just outside of Pueblo on Highway 50 at Haggard's RV Park.
Right.
And Haggard's is full. The other KOA north of Pueblo that's closer to Pueblo is full. And all the RV parks are full. Except for this KOA, which is KOA South, Pueblo KOA South, and it's about 20 miles south of Pueblo on Highway 25. And this was the last place I called and the only place that had a spot for us. So we got it for 3 nights, and we went to the fair.
Oh my gosh, it was a huge fair. It was it was awesome.
It had and I got to tell you, when we first walked in, they had the big ride that goes way up in the air, and big pinwheel kind of ride thing. And we stood there and watched the guys that work on the ride, trying to get the safety harnesses to latch onto the riders. And they wouldn't latch down. They couldn't get the little safety lights to go on or out or whatever. And they had to make them get out of the ride and switch seats and then try to lock them back down. And it took them a while to get those things to light up like they're supposed to tell them they're safe so people could ride this big ride spinning up in the air. And that told us right then and there that we don't want to ride any of the rides at the Colorado State Fair. But we did enjoy watching some of the games and seeing all the sights. One of the reasons that we go to the state fairs especially is
for the livestock.
For the livestock shows.
Yeah.
For the goats and the pigs and the cows and the horse competitions and the sales afterwards. And we really enjoyed the 4-H programs. The kids get to show their little goats and stuff. And
yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's really good for the kids and really good for America's future, we think. So we like to do that kind of stuff. And so yeah, we're here in Pueblo now at KOA South. We'll be taking off tomorrow to continue our journey back towards Oklahoma. We have to be back there. I have an appointment on September 14th. So that's where we're at. So we're going to be taking off tomorrow out of Pueblo, and we're going to be headed back towards Oklahoma. We have quite a few days before we have to be back there. And we'll be on those, little 2-lane roads, going through those little towns, staying at those little campgrounds for cheap. And maybe we'll make some video of those along the way for you. And I think that brings us to the end of this video, guys. If you haven't subscribed, we invite you to subscribe and follow along. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments below. Thanks again for watching the video. We'll see you soon.